As I consider today my birthday and being yet another year older, 51 years old, and kind of looking back at my life and looking back at history and considering the scriptures and considering Father's Day as well, I want to give a devotional concerning passing on wisdom to the next generation. What are we to pass on? It says, especially in the Old Testament, when you look at the nation of Israel, you look at 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and you could see when the king, when he was obedient to the Lord, that Israel was also obedient to the Lord as well. And I think that is true for all generations, especially in a family. When the father is obedient and leading in God's ways, oftentimes the generation after them are also going in God's ways as well. As we know, Proverbs 22 verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. But we also know the flip side as well, as I already kind of pointed out, but also in Judges chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, and all that generation were gathered to their fathers, and there arose another generation after them who did not know the Lord or the work that he had done for Israel. So it can go to the flip side as well. When there is a generation that does not follow the Lord, generally that generation after them will follow suit. And so there's a lot of encouragement in the scriptures that we should pass down godly virtues to the next generation. It says in Deuteronomy 6 and 7, which is part of the Shema, these commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts, and press them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road and when you lie down and when you get up. There's many of them in the book of Exodus. But also Joshua, when they crossed over the Jordan River, he said this to the people of Israel: when your children ask their fathers in times to come, what do these stones mean? Those memory stones that they put forth, those 12 memory stones, what do those mean? Then you shall let your children know Israel passed over this Jordan on dry ground. And I would add to that, because God led them through it, because God was with them, because they were obedient to God. We also know Psalm 145 in verse 4, one generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty works. And I would add, oh God. Joel even said, the minor prophet Joel, tell your children about it. Let your children tell their children and their children, the next generation. Let's also look to Paul as well. And Paul exhorted and encouraged Timothy. He said this: I am reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I'm sure dwells in you. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of hands. For God has gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and of love and of self-control. And even Timothy was told by Paul as well, and what you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. And so that is an encouragement for us. We have something that we can say and that we can do for the next generation that will be passed on, that can be passed on, that can be passed on. But we must be faithful. We must hold on to the truth with integrity. And we must be bold, yes, with humility, but speak the truth in love. Pass on to the next generation the lessons that God has taught you, and allow them and encourage them to live for the Lord. Well, thank you for joining me.